Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this hypnosis session that you're just about to listen to, you're going to be listening to a session all about personal empowerment. And I was working with a client that grew up in a household where they were constantly gaslit and criticized and told they were stupid. And a lot of control and coercion was taking place using guilt and shame to manipulate them. And because of that, they felt very vigilant against any of those kind of things. But also they felt this deep feeling that their value was linked to how much they do for other people. And people pleasing is one of those side effects quite often of having quite a coercive or kind of narcissistic relationship with parents. If you have narcissists as parents, quite often that love was not given unless you did something that they approved of. So you've got that conditioning going on. And certainly this client had a deep feeling that their value was linked to the validation or feedback or approval of the people around them. What this session is all about is being free from that childhood conditioning. And there's many metaphors that I use. We've got metaphors in this session that link to the idea of empowerment. But one of the most powerful metaphors for being in control of your own decisions and your own way of living is the idea of being a sovereign. And a sovereign would be typically in medieval history a king or a queen. They were the rulers. They decided how things were going to be. In modern days, the role of a sovereign is much more symbolic rather than actually powerful. But as a metaphor, it works. So you're going to hear a hall that evolves into a castle, a throne, which is obviously the seat of a sovereign, and then very, very powerful direct hypnotic suggestions so that they feel that they have permission to prioritize themselves first, that they can say no to those things that don't align with their values, that their value is not dependent on the approval or feedback of other people. And if you can connect or resonate with some of these things, then you're probably going to get a lot of value from this session. But it's quite rich in direct suggestions. Don't expect all of the suggestions to be relevant to you because they were created for the individual that I was working with. And on that basis, if you do like the idea of a bespoke session working with me, there will be a link in the description where you can schedule that free consultation call and we can have a chat to see if I'm the right hypnotherapist for you. For now, though, you might benefit from this hypnosis session. So find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in that slow, long, relaxing breath. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, feel a ripple of relaxation starting from your eyelids and just flowing down your face, down into your neck and your shoulders. Breathing in that relaxation, and as you exhale, feeling that wonderful sense of release, releasing tension, releasing stress, releasing worries. As you breathe in and breathe out, just scan your body for any clues. Clues of tension stored in muscle tissue. And just allow that tension to feel like it's melting away. That's it. And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the more you can feel that relaxation expanding from your chest, enabling you to breathe deeper than before and feel that relaxation going downwards there into your diaphragm. So you breathe in deeper and exhale for longer. That's it. Deeper and deeper relaxed now. And as you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a meadow of lush grass surrounded by ancient trees, oak trees, willow trees, trees that are hundreds of years old. But you're there in the meadow. And I want you to imagine you're under blue skies, fluffy white clouds, walking barefoot on the soft grass. Breathing in relaxation, and as you slowly exhale, allow your body to relax even deeper. Just allow your shoulders to feel they're releasing that tension, loosening. Feel your jaw relax even more as you allow your mind to quieten. Each breath draws you deeper and deeper into a place of stillness, the kind of place where change happens not through effort, but through intentions and choices. Here, in this space, I want you to recall something that deep down you've always known to be true, even if you were told the opposite. You are not broken. In fact, the very opposite. You are becoming stronger, wiser. In this journey of healing and evolution, you are elevating to an enhanced version, a version that gets you closer to your true potential and capability. I want you to imagine a comfortable chair there in the meadow. The most comfortable chair you can imagine. Imagine sitting and sinking into that chair, feeling the warm sun on your skin, and maybe there are sounds of nature, maybe the smell of the meadow and the nearby trees, as if with every breath you are taking a step down, deeper down to a calmer, quieter place within yourself. The kind of place where truth lives and thrives. The kind of place where all the noise fades, particularly the noise of your own thoughts. Where the true, empowered voice becomes the loudest. Imagine drifting off to a dreamlike sleep, there on that chair in that meadow. And in your dream, I want you to imagine solid foundations upon which is built a great hall. And part of that hall there are tall pillars rising up into the sky. I want you to imagine in between the pillars you can see sunlight pouring through. You feel safe here, calm here, empowered here. This hall represents your mind, vast, strong and sacred. And in the center of this space, I want you to imagine a throne. Not just any throne. This is a seat of your sovereignty. The place from which you decide what matters, what to carry and what to lay down, what to believe and what to let go of. And as you walk towards this throne, something shifts. As you remember, you are not here to be small. You are here to choose. And as you sit in this place of pure empowerment, imagine a new story, a new narrative is beginning to take root. Imagine this throne feels even more relaxed than the chair in the meadow. Imagine as you hear words, seeds are being planted deep in your subconscious mind. Words that will take root and empower you to become even more evolved and enhanced, steering your life in the very direction that you choose. It is safe for you to not know something. You will believe that curiosity is a strength, not a weakness. And you learn best when you allow yourself to explore without fear or pressure. And each new skill you learn adds and enhances your value. You don't need to start perfectly to become excellent. In fact, you need to start as a white belt before you can become a black belt in anything at all, you realize that your worth is not tied to what you know, produce, or prove. Your value is stable and inherent. Feel that it's finally time to let go of that old belief that love must be earned through perfection or performance. Imagine discarding it like an old item of clothing that just doesn't fit you anymore. It's safe for you to do your fair share. You don't need to carry the weight of the world. Doing what is necessary is sometimes much more advantageous than doing everything in your power. You do your share unless you decide you want to do more. Missing a deadline does not mean you failed. It's just a moment, not a judgment of your worthiness. Allow some of these ideas to start taking root, like grass seeds in the meadow. Give permission to yourself to prioritize your long-term growth over short-term pressure. They say the squeaky wheel gets the oil, but you are more interested in where the vehicle is heading. Keep your eye on the future that you desire. It's fine to work hard, to train hard, but it is also safe and in fact necessary for you to rest, to protect your boundaries, to say no, to conserve your energy. It is not your responsibility for making everyone happy. It's not your job. You can enjoy and appreciate it when it happens, but it's not a burden for you to bear. And in those moments when someone doesn't believe you, you just need to know your truth. Other people's perspective of the world doesn't have to exactly match yours. If you believe in your truth, then your truth remains intact. Because your credibility comes from within, not from other people's approval. And when you realize that, you can stay calm and grounded, even when others question or misunderstand you. That is a reflection of them, not a reflection of you. As you sit there on that throne, you realize you are sovereign, and you no longer need to react to gaslighting. You can choose clarity or walk away, physically or psychologically. You feel empowered to protect your boundaries because your voice matters, irrespective of whether it is validated. In fact, the expectations of others do not define your value. Give yourself permission to learn, to be that learner, to grow, to experiment, and to evolve. And each and every time that you honor yourself, you are healing upon what once felt unseen or unheard. That is when you build on your strong foundations. And you can trust yourself to know what's yours to carry and what isn't. And those old statements, judgments, or criticisms, even moments of shame from your past, they're not yours to carry. So put them down. You've carried them for too long now. You no longer confuse over-functioning with love. It's time to choose balance, boundaries, and freedom. And there is no freedom without boundaries. You can't say yes to everything and still be free. But you can choose what you prioritize. So you commit fully to the tasks and responsibilities that truly matter and have the ability to switch off when you don't. And when something is aligned with your goals, your values, your focus becomes powerful and effortless as you're reminded that if you could be dedicated, disciplined for others, you can do that for yourself. You prioritize yourself above your work. And in doing so, don't be surprised if your work is also enhanced. But that's a side effect of you prioritizing yourself. Imagine there's a switch in your mind. If it's outside of certain times or environments, just imagine being able to flip that on switch off. What you're willing to give full attention and energy to at one point becomes meaningless at a different point, because you prioritize your well-being and your personal life just as much as work, because both matter. And you're free to say, not now, not mine. Simply no to demands that don't align with your priorities. And when you choose to rest, this is still being proactive, because recovery is a form of power. Anyone that trains knows that recovery is just as important as the workout. Rest leads to growth. As you sit there on the throne, you realize that you are in control of your time, your energy, and your attention. No one else has that power, only you. That's why you're the sovereign. You hold all the power relating to you. This power is strength, and balance is not a weakness. It's finally understanding that it's mastery, and you are becoming the master of your energy, knowing when to conserve it and when to deploy it in a directly proportionate way to your goals, your values, to what you want for your life. As you sit there on the throne, I want you to imagine what this new, empowered, sovereign version of you would look like over the next few days and weeks. Maybe you could imagine a moment just a few days from now. Imagine yourself presented with a task, a deadline, or a demand. But instead of seeing yourself defaulting into panic, people-pleasing, or pressure, see yourself pausing. And in that pause, observe how you make a new evaluation. The ability to be discerning, to prioritize. Is this mine? Does this matter to me? These are the thoughts that enable you to be fully engaged when it matters to you and ambivalent when it doesn't. Because when it is important to you, you rise with full presence, focused, unstoppable. But if the answer is no, and it doesn't matter to you, you step aside, without guilt, without fear, without apology. You are no longer owned by old scripts. You are the author now, and your story is changing because you are. Future chapters are already being rewritten because you are the author of your story, and you simply want it to be a different way now. I want you to imagine leaving that throne with a new feeling of empowerment, discernment, and energy. Notice the hall is now changed to a castle filled with resources to handle any difficulty, any siege. And as you walk away from the hall and the castle, I want you to imagine seeing a meadow, and in that meadow seeing a chair, and in that chair seeing someone that looks exactly like you in a dreamlike sleep, and step into that version of you, feeling that same sense of empowerment, of autonomy, of discernment. And then imagine leaving that chair and walking barefoot across the soft grass of the meadow, and then floating up above the meadow, all the way back to your physical body now. Very soon, I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, and you will awaken with all of the resources necessary to be in control of your destiny. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, start to connect and calibrate into the here and the now. That's it. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox. the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.